Good morning, everyone. Kansas Sports HQ, Friday the 14th. Episode 20. Today we'll have a special guest, Colin Parks, joining us. He works with the Wichita Wind Surge and played in our Kansas Collegiate League baseball at one point. But how's everyone doing this morning?
Ready for the weekend.
Yep, pretty good.
I saw some stats earlier that a former Buckeye did well last night on Thursday Night Football. Travion Henderson.
Man of God.
Yes, sir. What's the weekend looking like for everyone? I know tonight we have big games. Derby, Northwest, Mays.
You decide if you're going to go?
I don't know. There's a few things that like a few events.
Dave's coming to the chili cook-off tonight, actually.
Chili sounds delicious, right?
You're coming to the chili
That sounds really good.
So is he.
So, but there seems to be like a lot of things going on, you know? You got your chili cook-off. We thought it was yesterday, but it's really
You said it was yesterday.
That's on me.
I'm telling
That's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me. I'm pretty sure I did because I'm not like
your days are running into each other.
I'm all over the place.
I just remember thinking while I was coaching because I started getting hungry, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm the only one here." And then my thought process was like, "Oh, I bet Sean's eating a big old bowl of chili right now."
Right,
that's tonight.
So then I texted him afterwards. I was like, "Hey, tell me about that chili. Like, I just want to hear about it." He's like, "That's not till tomorrow." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I asked him this morning. He was like, "Oh, I must have said it." So yeah. Lots of fun there.
How do you guys feel about being on episode 20?
Yeah, man.
That's pretty crazy.
We're halfway to 50.
No,
where does that put us? So
next Friday.
So is that like a full? That's a full month then, right?
For 20 episodes?
Yeah,
because you have to do your 2 days off. That we don't have anything going on.
That's what I'm saying. So we've been doing this for today. Would be the finishing day of a full month of episodes.
Technically tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Why tomorrow?
It's 4 full weeks.
4 full weeks.
Well, today would finish it. What do you mean?
Yeah, but would it?
No,
today's the last episode
once this gets posted, it would be that. So
I just said 20 is halfway to 50, and you didn't call me out on that.
Oh, yeah, we did, but
no, Dave did.
20 is a full month,
worth
of our podcast episodes, doing them 5 days out of the weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. People think we're crazy because they don't know how we have so many topics or reasons to talk about things.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, and really, I mean, it's been fun just kind of getting people on them, which I think is something that didn't really cross my mind in the beginning. Like I thought we would just kind of talk more just about like our stuff, and we still got plenty of that stuff to talk about still.
Yeah, and you have there's just a lot of people that have reached out.
Yeah, so that side of it's kind of cool, and staying consistent with it, putting some stuff out. So it's always good to kind of look at the little mini milestones. I bet there's podcasts out there that don't even get to 20 episodes before they stop doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's kind of cool. I think it's been fun, and doing some cool things for some cool kids. So I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday's was awesome. That was a cool conversation. I can't get over the fact that he's a neuroscience major playing D1 football.
Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
Smart kid for
That's
sure.
A good football team. Said that they're playing playing Colgate this weekend, and then they're playing for the conference championship next weekend against Lafayette, right?
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
Yeah. If both teams remain undefeated, it'll be a crazy game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you can watch those on like ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably have to try to. I don't know what time it is.
Speaking of ESPN, has anything changed yet on YouTube TV? I haven't. No, I mean, that was a topic a week ago.
Good question.
Well, we all forget. That's how we are.
Yeah, I mean,
some other distraction pops up and we move on.
It worked for me because I was able to watch the game on your Hulu deal, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Good morning, Colin. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
Not too bad. Welcome to Kansas Sports HQ. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
We're just shooting it around, talking about all the things, like why ESPN is still not on YouTube TV and a couple other things. This is our 20th episode, so it's kind of crazy to
It's a
think about.
milestone episode, so you better do a really good job.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah. What's up, Mr. Wind Surge? How's life?
It's busy, man. We're kind of in the thick of our off season, so we're doing promo calendar, we're doing community events, we're doing a little bit of everything, and it's funny because people always ask like if we're not as busy because the team's not in town, and the response is that we're 10 times as busy as we are out of season than we are in season. And so just the fun things around that, planning for next year. You got some really cool promotions and theme nights coming up. Now I just have to kind of put pen to paper now and start planning those events out to send to Major League Baseball to get approved.
Nice. Well, yeah, we're definitely excited to learn a little bit more about the inner workings of the Wind Surge, which we know that you're kind of in the mix of. So hopefully we can share some secrets to the 10 followers that we may have that pay attention to our stuff. But we definitely want to talk about some of that. But before we get going into what you're doing right now, let's kind of introduce you a little bit. Let's talk about, who you are, kind of where you come from, why are you here? Give us a little bit of a history lesson on Colin Parks, and so that way, people get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Colin Parks. A little bit of backstory about me. I'm from McPherson, Kansas. Kind of spent my time growing up in California, Ohio, Nebraska, but mainly here in Kansas.
Not Iowa, Sean.
Unfortunately. But kind of met Sheldon in 2018 when I came to college to play baseball. Kind of grew a relationship with him over my 6 years in college, and then now that I'm with the Wind Surge, just kind of been blossoming in that relationship, bringing some of your guys out, giving them an experience, and also just kind of giving back to what you guys do in the KCLB, the Summer Ball Showdown, all that fun stuff. Here with the Wind Surge, I've been here for 5 years now. Started out as an intern in the merchandise realm in 2022. From there, I went over into the ticket sales team, was doing that for a couple years. And then in February of this year, I made the jump over to the partnerships team. So I went from selling tickets to selling all the signage, all the theme nights, all those fun things that, kind of bring the fans to the ballpark. And so it's a lot of fun. It's busy, keeps me busy. But it's kind of that avenue of, growing up, I always wanted to be that professional athlete. And then kind of when I grew up and realized I wasn't good enough to go play any sort of professional baseball or semi-pro baseball, kind of shifted my mindset. And, kind of looking back, I would much rather do this than be a professional athlete just because of the opportunities I've had to be able to go to Kansas City and Tulsa, St. Paul, meet people in the industry, meet people that do things with the Chiefs, the Royals, the Drillers, the Dodgers. Just a really cool way of connecting, and obviously meeting you guys and playing for you guys. You guys have been a huge help in my career. So just kind of giving back to the community the best I can.
It's awesome, man. Really, really cool. Where all, just so people know, like, obviously we're in McPherson. Where all did you play ball at?
So I started off at McPherson College, was there from 2018 to December of 2019. Was going to transfer out to a school in Arizona. Obviously COVID hit, so that kind of nixed that plan. And so in the fall of 2020, I ended up at Newman University here in Wichita, was here for a year, and then I transferred down to Southwestern College in Winfield, Kansas, where I finished my playing days and also got my start here with the Wind Surge.
Yep. Did you end up coaching at all at Southwestern? I know you were playing slash, I don't know what you would call that role there for a little bit.
I never really coached. I My first year there, I was ineligible for transfer rules. Um, and so that's when I got my start here as an intern. I just kind of made the best of my time because I knew even at practice I wasn't going to be doing a whole lot. And so ended up coming here to Wichita, and then next year I went back and was kind of a part-time student, so I couldn't be a student athlete. And then my last 2 years, I played, and then also had some injuries my senior year that I wasn't able to do a whole lot with. So in those roles where I was inactive, I kind of dabbled in coaching a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you were kind of. I didn't even know that if there was an actual like title for it, but I knew you were kind of doing a little bit of manager type style work with them, just because of as you were bouncing around a little bit. I just didn't know if
Yeah,
they ever.
I think
I don't know.
student management would be the best way to put it.
There you
Just
go.
doing things in the team role. We already had our GA spots filled, and just
Yep.
kind of. I think student manager would be the best way to put those
There
in
you go.
activity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, it's been fun, obviously, getting to know you and your, professional career and doing different things and trying to be around sports and I think that obviously a lot of people that listen to us have some sort of a, sports type of either background or they have interests there. When you started out in college, obviously you wanted to play baseball. I think that's a very common, thing for everybody that's trying to still play. What were you studying in school, and then what kind of led you along to, I guess, venture into the professional sports world, outside of obviously just playing ball?
Yeah. So when I first came to McPherson, I was doing sports management. Um, and so I kind of just started doing some of my degree classes. My freshman year, I didn't really do a whole lot. I was doing, your chemistry, your math, your history classes, just to knock out the GED aspect of it. At Newman, I was a business major because they didn't offer sports management. And then at Southwestern, I did sports management, but it was very business heavy. So a lot of my classes were like entrepreneurship, macroeconomics, microeconomics, a lot of things around that. And kind of how that worked in was, um, obviously you got to know the business. You got to know kind of the trends of things. Obviously, right now, with the scope of things, people aren't spending a lot of money, and so taking some of my economics classes and realizing that, ever since probably the middle of the summer, people have been kind of pulling back on their spend. Means that there's not a ton of people that want to, either on a ticket aspect and the sponsorship aspect, want to spend money. And so now it's kind of preparing for when people do want to spend again, which it sounds like it's going to be around the first of the year when everything kind of opens back up. And so it's just kind of getting things rolling for when that spend is, because if you don't have basically bullets in the chamber, then you're shooting blanks, and that's not something that you want to have in a sales role. And so kind of taking those areas. It was weird because at McPherson, their sports management is more tailored to like athletic directors. Um, and so a lot of my classes were like sports injury classes, which I thought was really cool because that, in my really weird mind, now when I see an injury, I can kind of almost instantly diagnose it in a surface level aspect. And then two, in a personal aspect, I, hurt myself, and going through physical therapy and all that fun stuff. When we're talking, it's kind of like just chit chatting with your buddy. Like, I understand what they're saying in their terms. They understand what I'm saying in my terms, and it just kind of creates a flowing conversation. And so there's a lot of cool things there. And then at Newman, it was once again just like GEDs and stuff like that. So nothing super crazy. But that's kind of what my different classes have allowed me to go into here with the Wind Surge, and how they tie in, I guess, would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I talk about this all the time because people reach out to us about interning with us and,
Mhm.
doing different things. And it's all on the outside. Everybody, I think, looks at kind of the end product, right? They look at the guys on the field, the fun stuff in the stands, the fun games. Like they see all of the end product and they're like, oh, yeah, like that just looks like a fun job, like let's do that. But then, you start sitting down and going, okay, well, let's talk about the work. And it's like they don't have a clue in the sense of like, oh, well, this is just sounds like a business job or a sales job or a whatever. And it's like,
Well, yeah.
yeah, like how do you expect all this stuff to work? Like, like everything behind the scenes with these sports teams, whether it's minor league, I mean, it doesn't matter, they're all businesses. And, I've gotten the rap around with the collegiate summer leagues and, especially from other leagues and stuff. The common terms always like, yeah, they run that like it's a business. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, what do you mean? Like, why would we not run it correctly to where it's going to be successful and, so we can stand the test of time and be able to like do the things the right way? It's just, it's funny when I don't know. And maybe it's just, different perspectives, which is fine. But that's actually been like a part of the rumorville of, different random drama things with other leagues and things like that. They're always like, yeah, the KCLB is a business and we run ours like it's not one. Like, what?
Yeah, the MLB isn't a business
Yeah.
either. You know that. Come on.
no big deal.
Come on.
It's
So-
one of the, like, you can say it's like you can almost run like a candy shop adage in there where, like, yeah, you're running a candy shop and you're making candy and selling candy, but at the same time, like, if you're not selling candy, then you're not being successful and you're probably going to be closed in a couple of years. So that's a fun way to put that.
Well, you can love it as much as you want to love it, and you can have fun with it as much as you want to have fun with it. But if it's not making money and there's not a way for it to sustain itself, then it's not going to exist. Like,
be
it's
in it
just
for very long.
so fun your
simple.
love. So fun your love.
Yeah.
Love your fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's
Love your job.
Don't
Job your love.
job your love.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Job the love.
So, Colin, as you're talking about you doing some outreach and stuff like that, I do that for the businesses that we have. What do you think are some of the challenges that you've faced? I mean, for me on the back end, I was all operations. I didn't have to talk to anybody, and I didn't have to go make and build relationships. And now that's part of the things that I love doing with what I get to do. It took me a while to figure that out. But what are some challenges that you think you faced?
Yeah, I think the big one is, like, not to say the spend aspect, but, like, people think that we're gonna ask $1 million when really, like, $1,000 gets you a lot out here. $5,000 gets you a lot, 10,000 gets you a lot. Like, it's kind of that barrier of not wanting to spend money. In the Midwest in general is kind of that mindset of only spend on what you have to. And so it's kind of jumping that hurdle of, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg and put your business at risk of closing to be out here. There's plenty of opportunities. And, in the show ball or in the showdown, it's the same way where, it's probably, people ask like, oh, like, we just don't have that money. And then you ask them like, well, what's your spend? And they give you an answer and like, well, here's 10 things that you can do with that amount of money.
Right.
So that's one. The other one is just making contact with people. Not everyone wants to answer their phones and talk over the phone. Not everyone wants to jump on a call and talk face to face or talk through email, talk in person. Just kind of actually making that connection with somebody. And I've met someone through email, in person, over the phone. Even met people through LinkedIn that messaged me or I messaged them on LinkedIn. So just kind of jumping that initial hurdle of making that first contact with them. And once you open the door, and it's a pretty smooth process after that to get to know them and talk with them, know what they like, what I like. And then from there, you're not even talking business. You'll be in a 30-minute call and 25 minutes of it's just talking about the World Series or an NFL game on Sunday. And then the other 5 minutes are, all right, what ideas do you have? What's your spend? And I'll send you an email with these ideas and we'll meet again in 2 weeks where it's the same 30-minute thing of talking for 25 and really only talking business for 5 or 10 minutes of it.
Absolutely. I know I see you out and about a lot. I ran into you at Booth Creek and some other things. You're hopping around, and of course, with Parisi, I say come back so we can teach you how to run again. But outside of that, I do see you at just about everything that I venture out to. So it's fun to see you grow in that role and have a taste of what it's like. I mean, you are doing it at a different level, but it does seem to fit you very well.
Well, it also helps to be able to like engage with people. I'm not someone that likes to sit at a desk or like be to myself. Like, if you guys ever see me in the office, there's always people at my desk, whether we're talking ideas, whether we're just bullshitting, like there's always people at my desk. And that's just kind of something you have to have, not only in work and school, but also in life, is just to be a personable person and, kind of have a sense of humor and not an arrogance about yourself, but just like a barrier of like inviting someone to come talk to you. Like I like I'll be at Shields just shopping for like a new shirt or dress shirt or whatever, and someone will come up and just ask me about a hat I have on or a shirt that I have on, or they'll, especially being in a knee brace now, they'll come put their 2 cents in about why I shouldn't have gotten surgery and, and all that fun stuff. And it's just kind of having that aspect of not taking anything seriously. And I mean, I don't take anything serious until the serious gets brought up by someone else. And just being a fun guy and being able to get out in the community. And Dave, Sheldon, you guys are the same way, where I don't think we've ever had a bad interaction with one another. And every time we talk, there's always laughs and smiles. And that's just kind of how you got to be in life, is just a fun guy and a fun person and someone people want to be around.
Definitely. Sean, any questions?
Yeah, what's your day-to-day look like in this season, and what's your day-to-day look like in the off season?
We'll start in the off season, 9 to 5. A couple Fridays every now and then we'll close at 3 or 4 and do happy hours with the staff, or we'll just leave early and kind of enjoy a couple hours early start to the weekend. A lot of calls, a lot of meetings in the off season, whether it's going out to the community or people meeting here at the ballpark. We just finished up our high school football and college football series at the ballpark, so that was a couple Friday nights and Saturdays that we had to spend extra on. And then in season, it's busy, man. There are 12-plus-hour days. We're here at 10. We don't leave till 10 or 11. And it's the same thing, just servicing, making sure people are comfortable coming out, and that the show we put on and the fans that come out are wanting to come out again. And that's a huge thing that not only minor league baseball centers itself around, but our ownership group as a whole is making sure that when people come out, it's not something they have to, chip out from their summer schedule, right? That we can, bring people out every day, a couple times a week, couple times a month to enjoy a baseball game. Family friendly, family affordable is kind of the two things that our ownership group strives on. So it's a lot of just, setting up the stadium with, on Tumba Vaca nights, setting up the piñatas and the folklorico dancers, changing our ballpark into a Hispanic community, turbo tub nights, doing a lot of setup there with, creating a Riverfest theme out here. There's just a lot of ballpark setup that goes into it in the season. And then obviously the game aspect, make sure fans are here, the fans are excited and like being out here at the ballpark. And that's kind of what the two different seasons look like. So yeah.
What's your favorite theme? You have the Wind Surge, you have the Tumbas Vacas and the Turbo Tubs. Minor league is known for their different names, at different times and themes. So which one is your favorite?
I'm a huge fan of our chili buns theme because it's something that not a lot of people outside of the Midwest know of. And for those that don't know that are listening, our chili buns theme is our food identity. We wear it one weekend in April when the weather is hopefully cold for us. And our colors go from obviously like the navy and red to like a off-white color, and then like kidney bean red. And it's a really cool logo. Our logo is a bowl of chili with a cinnamon roll on top. We sell chili buns out of a concession stands. It's just a really cool brand. And I know I was actually on a call about this yesterday with minor league baseball. But there's food identities are like the way to go now. If you look in Hudson Valley, they are the cider donuts or apple cider donuts or something like that.
That sounds
And they actually sell like apple cinnamon scented merchandise, like t-shirts and stuff. You look around, you've got the tobacco beetles in North Carolina. And that's a tie to kind of the tobacco road out there, plus like field beetles that you see. In Omaha, they're the Runzas, which is a fast food chain out there.
I know the
There's just a lot of
Yeah.
fun behind the food identities. That's probably my favorite. Turbo Tubs is another big one because that's obviously tying in with Wichita specific with the troll statue and the River Festival that goes on. So those are probably my two top favorites. Plus the colors are just not what you see on a day-to-day basis. It's something that really sticks out like a good sore thumb, if that makes sense.
Those are great explanations. I never heard of the chili buns before.
Yeah.
We brought it out last year for a weekend, and then because we unveiled our backstory, so minor league baseball allows us to have 4 identities. So it's our main one and then 3 alternates. And so last year we filled up the 3 identities with Turbo Tubs, Monrovians, and I want to say Wranglers was the third one. And so this year we nixed the Wranglers night to bring back the chili buns because that was a huge fan favorite. So we're doing chili buns again next year on top of Tumba Vacas, Turbo Tubs. There's a third one that will be unveiled after the first of the year, so keep an eye out on that. And that one will also once again tie in really well with Wichita.
Oh, you're not going to say it?
You can't say it?
Not in public, no. I know what it is. I've seen everything about it, but
Is it at
I'll
least
let
cool?
our social media team's got a good plan to roll it out. So I think it'll be a huge hit with Wichita. And once again, we'll play a couple times
Come
a
on,
year.
man. Put Kansas Sports HQ on the map. Give us some inside
just
information,
a little
man.
secret here and there. Who watches this? We have 11 followers.
We'll break the news in February when it comes out. We'll
Jeez.
jump on and we'll do a press release about it, and I can go and up out the brand and all that
All
fun
right,
stuff.
there we go.
So
There we
we'll
go.
build it into
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Oh, yeah.
First released. I like it.
That's
Colin Parks calls back in February 3rd just to break the news on Kansas Sports HQ.
See, there we go. I love it, man. That's pretty cool. I mean, one, I didn't even know that those were all things. Two, I didn't know that the MiLB had like some sort of say in how many identities each team gets to do, but that doesn't surprise me. And I'm also kind of thankful that they limit you guys, because that could probably get out of control pretty quickly.
We are as well, because our GM, Matt, he has a plethora of ideas on his head, and he has all these mock-ups for different themes and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how we'd ever survive as the Wind Surge if we brought out 8 identities and we're playing identities 5 days out of the 6 games.
Every month you're somebody new, basically.
That's too funny.
Basically.
The merchandise tables would be pissed.
Yeah, just tons of stuff.
Our merch store is already small enough, so now to add in 8 more brands, we're really limited on the space out there.
Right, yeah.
How do you feel like working in like kind of the structure of, you know, a professional baseball team? Like, you know, most people have no idea what that really even looks like, right? So maybe kind of give a little bit of insight of kind of the breakdown of, you know, you don't have to go to every department or anything, but just kind of the what is the hierarchical kind of structure kind of look like for a professional baseball team before you even get to talking about like the players?
Yeah, so we start off, so we have our ownership group, Diamond Baseball Holdings. They own currently 45 out of 120 minor league baseball teams. So that's our overarching ownership group. They break down into a regional setup. So we've got regional teams that we report to. And those are all people that have basically gone from a president role or an AGM role or a VP role with one of the clubs and have gone into a regional role. And so that stretches from ticketing to sponsorships to marketing, kind of the brand aspects there. At the team level, so we've got some teams have presidents, some just have GMs. We had a president, but now we just have a GM, Matt Hamilton. So he's my direct report, and he's kind of the on-site guy for the Wind Surge. From there, it breaks down to our directors. So we've got Adam Mettler, who's our ticket sales director, Madison Johnson, who's our director of marketing, Billy Hool and Tim Grubbs, who kind of run the sponsorships team and the PR team, communications team. We also have a stadium operations team headed by Wayne Lobleen, and he does all of the cleaning. Ben Hartman is our fields guy. He does the mowing and the painting that you see for Wind Surge games. From there, it breaks down to a manager role. So that's what I am. I'm a manager of corporate partnerships and retail merchandise operations. So I run partnerships. I also run our team store during the season. I don't have anyone under me, but when you go under that role, then you have kind of your entry level. So your coordinators, your account executives. That's kind of how the breakdown works for us. And it's very similar across not only professional baseball, but also just businesses in general, where you kind of have your CEO level guy that breaks down into a director team or a VP team, then director team, manager team, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the hierarchical there. There's a lot behind it, but we all mesh and work like one. So it's really fun to not really have egos in the building in a sense, which makes my life easier and makes my job easier to go and sell things and not feel like there's an ego behind it that
he got it.
Got him.
And so
I was listening.
you're good. I got sidetracked watching you catch a fly, Sean, or a gnat, whatever it was. But yeah, just not in the building is a huge key and makes my job really fun and makes me want to wake up every day and come into the office.
It's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's crazy, but a lot of moving parts to those businesses, and there's a lot of, you know, different people that are responsible for a lot of different things. And then on top of that, then you start talking about your team, you know what I mean? That's actually out there playing, which is a whole different, essentially, I mean, it's under the same umbrella, but it's a whole different operation, and
Yeah, I
it's,
never touched on that. Yeah, so our team, we don't control anyone that comes and plays for the Wind Surge. So we don't get to sign and pick and play. Like Mike Trout can't retire, and we can't go sign him to a contract.
mhm.
And that's kind of what the biggest
Thought we were
hurdle
going to
is.
get Mike Trout. Gosh, dang it.
Unfortunately not. But the Twins make all those moves, and so when you see Walker get called up or Kalai get called up, Kalen get called up, those are all coming from Minneapolis. We don't have any say, and so it sucks to see those guys go because they were huge operational pieces of our team, making us a successful program. But at the same time, they're a step closer to becoming a major league team.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how those work. And that's kind of how that player aspect works. Um, and then same with like the trainers as well, like the training team, the strength and conditioning team, that all comes from Minnesota. So they'll all go to Fort Myers and train and work together, and then they all get put off into St. Paul or Wichita, Cedar Rapids, whatever that may be, and do their thing here, and then go back and
Keep
back to
chasing the
Fort
dream,
Myers. There,
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So a lot of moving pieces there, but I mean, our manager Ramon, he was here when the team first started. He's now the third base coach with Minnesota, and so he's gone up a couple levels to his dream job. He does the World Baseball Classic, so I want to say he was the third base coach for Venezuela in last couple World Baseball Classics.
That's
I'm pretty
cool.
sure he's going back with Venezuela again. So if you watch the World Baseball Classic and see Perez hit a home run, Ramon's the guy that greets him at third to dap him up and send him on his way to home.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you gotten close with any of the players, like just being around? Like, have you had the opportunity to build, maybe not like any crazy, best bud relationships, but just, being able to be around those guys and, trying to talk with them and just pick their brains on different things and their journeys, stuff like that. Is there any, specific cool stories that kind of stick out to you?
Yeah. I've met with a couple of them. Walker's a good guy. Kalai and Kalen are really good guys. I think one of the coolest stories was I was playing for Park City one summer, and I don't know if you remember Kobe, but he played
Of course,
in
we
your league
remember
for
the
years.
Australian.
And so we had a fan favorite here, Alex Isola, and apparently his brother played
Mm-hmm.
with Kobe. I think one of Alex's first years here in Wichita. And so that was a cool connection because Kobe obviously knew Alex and his brother, and he would always come to games. We had a guy on the team that played high school with my college roommate, and so he would always come to games, and we'd all go to the Monarch for drinks afterwards. But a lot of them are really down to earth guys. There's not a persona behind them. Obviously, they get paid to play baseball versus where some of us are working 9 to 5s working for baseball or setting up baseball. But the end goal is the same, which is to put on a really good show. They want to play their best. We want to put on a good atmosphere for them. Because if they start pouring to the Twins that they don't like Wichita, we could probably lose our affiliation pretty quickly. But at the same time, we also have a great relationship with Minnesota. They love coming down here. They love our Turbo Tubs brand, which is something I found out last year. Every time we ship merch up to Minnesota for them to wear, it's always a Turbo Tubs polo or a Turbo Tubs hat, which is really cool. And so, great relationships around just, being an affiliate. And then also with the players, there's not a ego behind them. There's not, a hide behind the smoke screen aspect. They all want to be with the fans, engage with the fans. Um, so those are probably some of the coolest stories just to see how they grow in their careers. And obviously we had Austin Martin and Carson McCusker as some big guys. Brooks Lee came through Wichita. So to see those guys get to the big leagues is a really cool moment. Obviously Louis Varland, he pitched in Toronto for the World Series. Was an incredible bullpen piece for them. It sucked to see him leave the Twins, but at the same time, to be able to pitch in the World Series and be a game away from a ring, I think is a pretty cool trade-off. And to see him on the biggest stage was really cool to see.
So with the Wind Surge, I get asked this question a lot, but I'll let you answer it. Like, what what are some of these guys on the field like making? Like, it's obviously a wide range, but what would you say would kind of average that out for the guys that are playing here in Wichita? Because I think this is a part of the game that the common fan has really no idea, especially minor league baseball, but then also just, kind of how that system works, right? With the players that you guys are getting sent to you, taken from you, right? Like how that all kind of moves around and how it moves so quickly. I think that's another big thing that people that are outside of the sport just really don't understand how all the moving pieces work. So maybe kind of from your perspective, obviously being in the building, give a little bit of insight on, what are these guys actually pulling in? What is their kind of life? And it's random, but what are their lives kind of consisting of? And kind of share some insight on that.
Yeah, so their salary ranges. I know the base for Double A with the new agreement is I think 37,000 a year for kind of those non-big prospects that were drafted in the first or second round or for 40-man guys. Those guys make a little bit more, obviously in their signing bonus and obviously in their just base totals in general. A day-to-day for them, or time back in the salary thing, they have their housing paid for. That's a new thing into the agreement as well, is that we have to have a housing set up for them. And so thankfully we've got the water walk across the street where our guys will live at. Their setup's nothing crazy. TV, a bed, a couch, gaming system, and clothes are really all they bring with them. But a lot of their lives are living here at the ballpark. They're, 9 to 9, they're 10 to 10. Job is playing baseball. So they'll, obviously play a game on a Thursday night or whatever, go home, sleep, wake up, probably do something in the morning until about noon, whether it's golf or relax or go to the store, whatever that looks like. And then about noon is when they start arriving here. They'll do lunch of some kind, catered lunch. Then they'll start kind of stretching and rehab, all that fun stuff. Cage swings, kind of breakdowns and stuff. And then about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoons when they come out on the field, they do their individual works, whether that's a bullpen as a pitcher, long toss as a position player, grounders or pop flies as an infielder or outfielder. Whatever that looks like, they'll do until about 4. 4 o'clock's when they do batting practice. 5 o'clock visiting team, and then 6, 7 o'clock they're in the clubhouse, watching film, prepping for the game, seeing what the starter and who they're expected to face is going to see. And then obviously they go out, play, come back in, they shower, they kind of go over film. Some guys will get tape or rehab ice, whatever that looks like. Do a post-game lift if they want to. We've got an on-site weight room for them. Take swings if they had a bad game at the plate. Kind of anything after the game is up to them, and then they'll go home and sleep the rest of the night. So that's what a normal day looks like for them. But I mean, they're normal. You'll see them in the community. They love golfing just like you and me. So they'll be at the golf course. They'll be at Shields looking at golf stuff, Nike stuff, even like the baseball gloves and stuff they'll just be looking at. But a lot of what they get is through their agent, through their, retail deals, whether it's a Marucci bat or Bird Dad bat, whatever that looks like, Wilson glove. A lot of that stuff is paid for through their agent. And then their salary is what they make. And then another thing too is their salary is just during the playing season. So it's just from March to September, October, whatever that looks like for them. Very similar to like how NFL players get paid. They just get paid during the season. They don't get paid for training camp or preseason or anything like that. They get paid from week 1 through week 18 or the Super Bowl, whatever that looks like. So it's not a stipend in a sense, but it's definitely not a year-round January to December type paycheck like I get.
Yeah, minor league guys is a grind. Like it's, and the common person just thinks that they immediately are rich and they are just rolling in the dough and all of the things. And the passion that those guys have for the game is something that is really remarkable. And when you see these guys that are playing at this level, the consistency that it takes for them to play at the level that they play at, it's just light years ahead of what you see in college and obviously, below that as well. But it's crazy to understand just the jump that it takes to really make it to the level that these guys are playing baseball at. But then on top of that, to try to sift through the dynamics of the mental side of the game that you have to be so consistent at all times to be able to perform at the level that they're trying to perform. And then on top of that, it's not like they're all just, don't get me wrong, some of them are, right? Like some of these guys get drafted and they make their bonuses and they make good money and there is those pieces in there. But a lot of these guys are, making the same amount of money as a normal person but they're expected to perform at a level that is just light years ahead of anything out there as a quote unquote normal job. So it's
Yeah.
just it's wild to watch them play, just the smoothness to their approach to the game and just how simplistic it is, but how hard it is to do it. Like it's a true art. Like it really is, like, to be able to watch some of those guys out there. And so I always look at them in massive amounts of respect because what they're doing is it's incredibly difficult to be able to do it. So
Yeah.
that side of it's really cool.
Yeah, and they're humble too, which is really cool because they're, like I said, there's not an ego behind him. So they go 0 for 4. They, give up 9 runs in the first inning, whatever that looks like. They're humble about it. So you'll see them post game, and they might not have a smile on their face, but they're going to take time to talk to you. So that's another key as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So outside of living and breathing baseball, what's Colin Parks up to?
I coach baseball. I coach a 15U team here in Wichita. Video games, love college football, the show. Got into the new Battlefield that just came out, so that's kind of cool. You'll see me with my dog. We'll be walking. We'll go to Shields together. I'm normal, just like anyone else. I've got my hobbies, and I'll be in public. I don't just work here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and then go hide in my house. I like getting out in the community, like just going out to shop. I don't like being in one set spot. It's kind of my ADD talking when I say that. But you'll see me doing something on the weekends. You'll see me doing something after hours, whether it's working out or going to the store. But yeah, I'm a normal person. Just may not be in the same spot every time.
What's your youth team you're coaching? What's their name?
I coach the Wildcats, Wichita
Oh, okay.
Wildcats. So we're a 15-16 team. They bumped up from 14 last year, but seeing those guys, that's kind of the joy about that is, I get to see them develop for the next 4 years. I'm hoping I'm their coach. I hope they don't go to, Diamond Dogs or 316 or the Heat or whatever that looks like. I hope I can be selfish and keep them on my team for 4 years. But I tell them all the time that, 1% better every day, and to see where we were at the beginning of September when we first started practicing to where we are here at the beginning of November has been leaps and bounds. And I think they've got a really good future ahead of them, not only from our club standpoint, but also at their high school teams.
Good. That's all. I didn't know you were coaching a youth
Yeah.
team, so that's cool.
That's why I had to ask the question. I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
It's a new pickup. I picked that up in I want to say March of this year.
Okay.
Just had a connection through selling a sponsorship package and met the lady's husband, and we clicked off. And then my college coach at Southwestern, he went up to talk to him, and sure enough, one of the coaches was an umpire that you guys are probably familiar with in the KCLB and in college. And one thing led to another, and before you know it, I was kind of just coaching part-time and helping out the kids and when I could. And now this year I've kind of stepped into a full-time position with the off season and hoping to stay that way for the next couple years.
Nice. Well, we need to get you into the KCLB ranks. I don't know why that hasn't been done, but we need to get you around so you can be a part of the teams. You've played, you've been around on that side. Now we need to get you on the other side too. So start to pencil that into the schedule for me. All right.
I can make something work.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, it's kind of fun to just kind of hear some of the backside stuff with the Wind Surge, and like we're pretty pumped up about trying to get involved with them a little bit more. As time kind of continues and goes on. For us, KCLB wise, we take our guys out to the ballpark quite a bit and try to do different things with them. Because obviously it's a shared interest there. It's where they all want to see themselves playing at some point in time. And most of the time it doesn't happen, but the reality is they're still shooting for it, and, so we want to try and put them into the good positions to be able to make the relationships, make the connections, try to find ways to to help guys, as best as we can as they're kind of going along in their journey. And, so you guys share in that same interest. And I think that that's really cool. I think watching the Wind Surge kind of blossom over the last few years of being in the community and trying to do things in the community has been pretty fun to watch. I know there's been some ups and downs and some speed bumps along the way and just all the different changes, and there's more to come, I'm sure. But it's just they're trying to do, in my opinion, I feel like they're trying to do the right things for the Wichita community, and I think that there's challenges there just with our community in general. It wouldn't matter if it was you guys or anybody else. I think that there's just always challenges here in the community, but I feel like you guys are doing a really good job, and obviously with good people like you trying to, get out and build those connections and those relationships. That's what makes the ballpark fun. But how has the attendance been? Like, have you felt like year to year since you've been there a few years now? Like, do you feel like it's been consistent? Do you see it growing? What would you want to say to some people out there to like, try to help boost that a little bit? Like, what do you kind of feel in that realm?
Yeah. I've seen it grow leaps and bounds. I think the actual number is about 5% year over year since I've been here, um, is what we've grown, which is incredible because 5% may not seem a lot on paper, but that's about 700 fans a year, in a ballpark where we've gone from 3,000 to 3,700, 4,400. Now we're at about 5,100 a game. It's really fun because it just creates an awesome environment. It's fun to be in a packed stadium. It's the players' dreams to play in a packed stadium. It's fun because you're going from, scanning tickets to helping in the concession stands to selling more tickets. It just keeps you on a swivel, and it makes everything fun. And at the end of the night, when we're sitting at the table drinking beers, it's a pride thing to look back and see that there were 5,500 people that wanted to come to your house for an event. And that's, a testament to our ownership group, to the people we have here in staff, people like you and Dave that are in the community advocating for us and helping us out. And obviously bringing your kids out to games. It's really fun to see, and the development around the ballpark's about to go full swing. So you're going to see a hotel, apartment complex, parking garages. That just all goes into the fan experience aspect.
Yeah. Well, I say this all the time when I talk to people around Wichita, and I mean it, and you can take it for what it's worth. But like, if people in Wichita want to see cool shit here, then they got to support it. Like, and
Mhm.
it's that simple. Like, even if you can't go a bunch or even if you can't do it all the time, like, just still find ways to support it. Like, find ways to support the different things that people are trying to do to make things in our city attractive and make it fun and make it cool. Like, and if you just sit on your stupid keyboard and whine and complain all day, nothing's gonna stick, right? And that
Mhm.
just, I can't stand laziness, and that's what that translates to me is like people whine and complain about nothing. Then like just say nothing. Like you're better off just doing nothing. But instead, they want to complain about parking, complain about the tickets, complain about this. It's like, dude, nothing's gonna make you happy. Like, just shut up. Like, like just go do something that you enjoy then. Like, why do you need to tell people about the things you don't enjoy? Like, there's no good that comes from that. Like, just shut up. Like, go do something else and let other people that want to support the stuff in the city, let us talk about how it's cool and try to get more people to come and do different things. And again, nobody's ever gonna completely agree on anything, I don't think. But, as a city, we have to get out and support each other, right? I don't love
Mhm.
certain sports. Like, there's certain sports I go to all the time that I don't really deep down love, but I'm going to support the programs. Like, I go to help them out, like, and just be there, and more eyes, more people, more things. Like, do positive things, build positive momentum. Don't sit around and whine and complain all the time because nothing gets done that way. So that's my little
Yeah.
rant for the
Yeah,
day,
I'll
I guess.
second that.
But
Yeah, I'll second that. It's we're open to opinions. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. I'll put out there that if people want to come try out a Wind Surge game that have never been here before, hit me up. I'll get you guys a couple tickets to come experience the ballpark atmosphere. Get you a hot dog and a soda or a drink or whatever you want. But just get you out here to test drive our facility because it's something that you're not going to see anywhere else. You can go to Kaufman, you can go to Frisco or Arlington, see their ballparks, but it's not our ballpark. And so I put that out to everybody that if you want to come try out a Wind Surge game, hit me up, email me, call my desk phone, call my cell phone. I'll get you tickets to come out and watch a game. And then to your point too, just get out and support, right? I'm not the biggest fan of, certain food products or whatever that may be, but if there's a ribbon cutting through the chamber, I will go there and support because I know somebody that will. And, I've told a couple of my college guys and my high school guys about your league and the good things you do. And in my aspect, seeing where I was in 2019 as a freshman to where I am now, 2 years post-grad, post-playing, you guys are killing it with the KCLB, with the Summer Ball Showdown, the teams you're bringing in, the atmosphere you're creating, the fact that an 8 seed can win it over a team that went and had 5 losses last summer. You guys are killing it there. And same thing, hit up Sheldon. He's got a great product. He's got a great league. He's doing everything he can to make sure that the kids that come to Wichita are, continue their success and continue their love for the game.
Yeah, man.
It's
Well,
more
we
of a
appreciate
business,
it.
though.
So, yeah, well,
that's all business.
it's just a business.
Yeah, it's
That's
just a business.
doesn't care.
Yeah, no.
Good night.
Well, Colin, we appreciate you jumping on with us. I know I promised you it'd be about 40, 45 minutes and all that good stuff. So thanks for taking time out of your schedule there. If you want to hang tight with us, this is where we typically close out and turn it over to Sean for a prayer. If not, we understand and you can just hop off. But Sean, will you lead us in our closing prayer?
Sure. Lord, thank you for this day and this opportunity to sit down and talk with another person of our community and just get to know them, get to know Colin and what he's all about, what he's doing over there, and just trying to engage with the community as much as he can. Lord, you call us to be part of our community no matter what. So it's really cool to see what he's doing and continuing to uplift people, whether it's at the ballpark, whether it's getting people involved with the Wind Surge, or whether it's coaching and trying to make great baseball players and great young men out of the kids he's coaching for baseball. So Lord, just be with him as he continues to walk through his journey as his job with the Wind Surge and coaching as well. So in your name we pray, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, that's it for us at Kansas Sports HQ, episode 20, hitting that mile marker right away. 1 month of everyday episodes during the week. And, we're grateful to have Colin Parks on with us. So you guys take it easy and we'll see you next time.